because we see who's funding you. We see who is backing you. And these folks aren't spending thousands and millions of dollars for expecting nothing in return. And I think it's disingenuous and it's insulting to think that voters and constituents are stupid, that we don't see these super PACs coming in, that these corporate interests coming in and buying these elections and thinking that, oh, this representative is going to truly represent me. No, I think that we as Democrats, if we actually want to win in 2028, if we actually want to take back the majority this cycle, then we need to be building the party and fighting and standing with the working class people that we claim to be champions for, instead of being cashing checks from the same folks who put Trump.
All right, Nida Alam, everybody. Am I saying your name correctly?
Nida Alam.
Nida.
Yeah.
Okay. For Congress in North Carolina 4, it's very exciting to have you on the broadcast. From what I understand, it's 3:05 here in Los Angeles, but it's actually 6 there. And my team told me that you were going to break your fast with us, even though I already ate, because I'm a bad Muslim and not a very good one. I apologize.
It's okay. We have 1 minute left. So
okay. All right. Well, when that happens, we'll get to it. But hi, Nida. Welcome to the broadcast. I'm very excited to have you. You've been in the news a little bit. There was some drop site reporting that we're going to be getting to. Shadow Super PAC that appears linked to Hakeem Jeffries is swooping into NC4 to back your opponent, Congresswoman Valerie Foushee. As a rematch of a race AIPAC spent $2 million to win in 2022. This appears to be a new backdoor way for AIPAC, funneling through Hakeem Jeffries. This PAC also spent $350,000 in New Jersey 11, where AIPAC accidentally boosted anti-Zionist Ana Lilia Mejia, and they're spending $257,550, mostly on the broadcast in North Carolina 4. Why do you think they're coming after you like this?
I think they're coming after us because they're seeing the momentum and energy we're building of a working class movement here at NC4, and giving people who haven't had a seat at the table, giving them a megaphone to show that they're sick and tired of the status quo. And, it's not just this shadow PAC, it's also the AI lobby just dropped $1.3 million this week. And also other PACs that have been funded by Coinbase and AIPAC mega donors.
Yeah, it's a pretty difficult hill to climb when you advocate for, oh wait, hold on. There's 2 screens on here. I didn't even realize, because I was playing video games yesterday with a friend. Okay. There is a pretty steep hill to climb when you center the working class around your knees. But unfortunately, obviously, elections are won with big war coffers for the most part. Is there there's also another, this is the $1.3 million that was unveiled, new FEC, F-24 Jobs and Democracy Pact, with another $1.3 million. What are these financial interests that you are so threatening? Who are these people who are financially invested in your defeat potentially? Like, why do they feel so threatened?
Because I have been unapologetic and very clear that I would support Senator Bernie Sanders' call for a national moratorium on AI data centers, because corporations like Meta are trying to convince us that these data centers are going to create jobs when we know they're killing thousands of jobs. They're destroying our environment. And there's a data center being debated in this district right now. And hundreds of residents have signed an open letter calling on candidates in this race to not accept AI money. They've been showing up to town hall meetings to oppose this, and to have our sitting member of Congress see those residents of her district and ignore their voices, and in turn to accept over $1 million from the very lobby that they are standing up against. It's a slap in the face.
Yeah. By the way, I think it's time, right? If you want to.
I hear my alarm going
I don't want to hold you back, and you're gonna break your fast with a date. Mm-hmm. You want to tell people what you're doing for all the non-Muslims in the chat that might not know?
Yeah, it's Ramadan, so I've been campaigning while fasting, And so for the month of Ramadan, we fast from our morning prayer to our evening prayer, but also, try to keep away from just bad habits and centering ourselves more and praying and trying to give back to the community as much as possible.
Yeah, that's got to be tough because, like, in Turkey, usually in the month of Ramadan, people, people try to stay away from doing too much work, during the day, especially if it's like during summertime when the days are longer too. A lot of traffic incidents in general, road rage. It's super tough. You're like an athlete basically, where you still have to, your campaign's in overdrive right now, and you're doing it while fasted. Do you want to talk about what some of the reasons are for fasting in general? Like, because I've been taught that it's a religious practice that is supposed to help you identify with some of the most marginalized people in society.
Yeah, it's one of our pillars of faith. We have 5 pillars of Islam, and it's to build that bridge with our most marginalized communities, because everything we've been given in this world is, as Muslims, we believe, has been a gift. And in order to make sure that we're reminded of the gift of food, water, but also all luxuries of this world and these material aspects of this world, that we take a moment to be grateful for it and give back and give to others, and to also do good actions, community service projects, and also just work on your, negative habits. I try to curse a little less during Ramadan, curb that habit as much as possible.
I'm a bad Muslim in every aspect, including that one too. I curse all the time. It's really bad. I try to do good in other ways. So let's talk about your policies. This is something that I ask every person running for office. If you were to break it down to like 5 top line policies, the Zoran method, what would they be?
Yeah, I mean, starting in the true Zoran nature, is the issue of affordability is something that is not just, happening in New York. It's in this district, in the South. It's everywhere in the country. We're seeing our cost of living continue to go up because of these corporations and these billionaires who just want to line their pockets, and they're doing so on the back of the working class. And in the meantime, they're also paying us unlivable wages. So we need to tackle the issue of affordability by raising the wage to a living wage, actually passing, Medicare for all, so that healthcare is a human right and people aren't having to decide between healthcare and paying their rent. And all of those are intertwined with each other, like healthcare, rent, or mortgage, gas prices, grocery prices, salaries, and then also the threats against our democracy. And the fact that, Trump is back in office and delivering on every single one of the promises he made on the campaign trail. And as Democrats, our leadership is just staying silent in this moment and saying, well, we'll try again in 3 years. We'll step up and put up a fight in 3 years, when families are struggling right now. ICE and CBP came into our communities here in November, and I was on the front lines protesting with organizations like Siembra to fight back for our immigrant neighbors. I'm a proud, daughter of immigrants, immigrant myself. It's a duty of mine as a local elected official to stand with my neighbors, and all we got from our representative was a tweet.
Yeah. So you said a lot of policies on the affordability side, which I like. You're heavily weighing on that side of things. Okay, but let's say that's 3. So what do you have 2 more for me? 2 bonus policies.
Bonus policies, also just the priorities that we have as a country. The fact that we constantly see our leaders tell us, well, we can't afford to provide, a safe and sound basic education to every child, that we can't afford to provide healthcare as a human right. We can't afford, to pay everyone a livable wage, but then we can afford writing blank checks to the Pentagon that hasn't passed an audit in over 30 years, sent endless amounts of money to, other countries like Israel to commit genocides when we're not even taking care of our own community members. Yeah.
I suspect that AIPAC, like AIPAC subsidiaries funding your opponent in this race is probably has probably something to do with the fact that you have an anti-genocide position, a position shared by many Democrats, including Democrats in North Carolina. Has this ever been even a point of contention when you're door knocking, or are people more supportive overall of this position?
No, people are sick and tired of seeing their tax dollars being used for destruction of communities abroad. 70,000 innocent civilians have been killed using U.S. taxpayer dollars that our current representative voted to send. And in the midst of the genocide, flying to Israel and taking pictures posing with Netanyahu, a known war criminal. And in the same time, our district is facing the highest number of federal funding cuts, more than any congressional district in the country. And to have leadership that's not stepping up and putting up a fight against right-wing authoritarianism because they're too busy, courting these corporate interests and these corporate defense contractors.
Yeah. Going back to some of your primary opponents here, AI companies, according to More Perfect Union, are gearing up to spend more than $100 million on the 2026 elections. In North Carolina, in your district, they've already dropped more than $500,000 on one primary ad, and they're trying to offer a boost to your opposition. What are their positions on AI?
So this lobby, they claim, quote unquote, or my opponent, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, she was just right as I launched my campaign, conveniently placed as a co-chair of the AI task force by Representative Jeffries. And then now you see there's 3 co-chairs of this. 2 of the 3 co-chairs are being bankrolled by the AI lobby now. And we have been asked at a candidate forum by residents where we stand on the data center that's being built in this district. And she said, that's a local issue. I'm not going to speak on that. Then what is the point of having a federal AI task force if you're not going to speak up and call for regulations on the AI industry?
Yeah. So she's it kind of seems like, at least judging by the way that these AI companies are lobbying against you, it kind of feels like she's not actually doing her job as a regulator, at least from my assessment. So one other question I had for you is Robert Gurneri, according to Sludge, it has been outed as one of the billionaire co-founders of Jane Street Capital, is the only disclosed donor to a PAC affiliated with a Super PAC now spending for Valerie Foushee. This week, he was sued in federal court over allegations of insider trading regarding Do Kwon's Terraform Labs. It's the mysterious billionaire boss at Jane Street smashing trading records. What is the reason why this person is so against you, in your opinion? Why don't you like insider trading?
Well, I'm sorry to say billionaires, but I'm not going to be a friend of yours in DC because I'm going to be there to advocate and fight for the working class. And I'm sure that these folks are scared because they see that not only this campaign, but campaigns like Sohran's, campaigns like Ana Lilia Mejia, campaigns like we have coming up with so many amazing Justice Democrats candidates and Leaders We Deserve and Sunrise Movement folks who are running across this country are giving a voice to working class individuals who are saying that we've had enough of billionaires making a profit off of our backs and then stepping on us and silencing us. And they see that we've built momentum and we've built energy, and they're scared. And they should be, because when we win, this is only the beginning in this race. We're going to continue to stand up all across the country and show people that they have the power, and that no matter how many millions they try to spend to silence us, our votes will silence them.
Okay, so you're against POC, people of capital, or POW, people of wealth. It seems the true minority, the only minority group that the Democratic Party and the Republican Party both align on protecting. It's good to know. So another question I have for you is related to the way that the party itself is seemingly orchestrating methods of diluting funds, or basically hiding funds that are coming from big big lobby organizations that are now falling out of favor. Does this, like, if there was a message broadly that you could take to the National Democratic Party, you're a Democrat, you've been endorsed by other Democrats, as well as an independent senator from Vermont, Bernie Sanders, who always caucuses with the Democrats. If there was a message that you could send to the party, what would it be as far as getting out of the way of left populist candidates that are socialist candidates that are endorsed by socialists? Like, why should the party not stand in opposition to people like yourself?
I think, the party every year, every election that we lose, the party always comes back and is like, oh man, well, why didn't working people come out and vote? Oh man, why didn't young people come out and vote? Why didn't immigrants come out and vote? It's because we see who's funding you. We see who is backing you. And these folks aren't spending thousands and millions of dollars for expecting nothing in return. And I think it's disingenuous and it's insulting to think that voters and constituents are stupid, that we don't see these super PACs coming in, that these corporate interests coming in and buying these elections and thinking that, oh, this representative is going to truly represent me. No, I think that we as Democrats, if we actually want to win in 2028, if we actually want to take back the majority this cycle, then we need to be building the party and fighting and standing with the working class people that we claim to be champions for, instead of cashing checks from the same folks who put Trump and his MAGA Republican friends into the White House.
So you're in North Carolina. What is the demographic makeup of your district? Would you say that a pivot to moderation is the suggested outcome here? And your performance so far, do you feel like that actually goes against the grain? Like, do you feel like that actually is a clear-cut example that you don't have to pivot to moderation in order to win elections in purple districts or blue districts or even red districts?
This is actually the safest blue district in North Carolina. It's D plus 24, and it's not just blue, it's progressive blue. Like, I'm a county commissioner here in the largest county in this district. I already represent what's going to be 50% of the voting population. And that shows, as the first Muslim woman ever elected to office in North Carolina's history, the values and the diversity of this district, that we have the only district with a double-digit Asian American population, double-digit African American population, nearly just under double-digit Hispanic and Latino. And we have some of the most highly educated folks in this district, with 6 colleges and universities. We're home to Research Triangle Park. And we don't have to pivot. And it's not even just about moderation. I get called all sorts of things, and yeah, I'm a progressive, but also every single policy that I'm standing on is common sense. It's about allowing every person in this country to live with dignity. And these shouldn't be controversial, especially not in the Democratic Party. These shouldn't be considered radical ideas that, every family, every person should be able to put food on their table, should only have to work one job to make ends meet.
How would you reach across the aisle and make a convincing message that you would be the best congressperson for the district for maybe people who have voted in the past for the Republican Party? There's someone who said, this is my home district. There's 6 total Republicans here, and 2 of them happen to be my parents. How would you convince this chatter that I have? They're 2 parents that have voted Republican, that you are the right candidate for them?
I think I would talk to them about the shared lived experiences that we have. People in this district, just like all across the country, are struggling to make ends meet. And me and my husband, we have student debt. We have 2 young kids that we're putting through daycare, and the cost of childcare for our 2 kids is the same as our mortgage. And we want to see our neighbors being taken care of. We want to see our neighbors be able to support themselves and be able to support ourselves. And I believe that every single person in this country, whether you're Democrat, Republican, or unaffiliated, would rather see their taxpayer dollars be used to build community, to support one another, rather than be used to give billionaires tax cuts and corporations tax breaks and fund endless war. And I think that's how we build relationships across the aisle, is through human interaction and relationship building.
Your opponent, Valerie, is turning 70 this year. Don't you feel like you're taking out someone so young, potentially, by running against one of our youngest members in Congress?
You know, for me, I look at my generation, your generation, and I see that we are facing one of the highest points of unaffordability for us, that we have student debt. We're more likely to be riddled with student debt for the rest of our lives than be able to buy homes. The average age of a home buyer in the country is 59 years old. And we need leadership that understands this lived experience in this moment of how expensive it is to raise a family, how expensive it is to go to school right now, to buy a home, to try to achieve the American dream that we were told was possible for us.
Okay, so you're an ageist, is what you're saying. You're someone so clearly young, in the prime of her life, potentially that doesn't understand the plight of those who are even younger, which of course is far too young to run for office. All right, last question for you, and thank you so much for coming on the broadcast, taking the time out, and sharing your experience of breaking the fast with a bunch of people who don't fully comprehend the Muslim American experience. What are some areas of need for your campaign right now, and how can my community help you out?
Yeah, our biggest need right now is, honestly, as you mentioned earlier, campaigns are unfortunately fueled by money. And when you see this type of, right-wing special interest money coming in at the last minute to try to save this representative with I think it's nearly over $2 million that they've dumped in this last week. We are a campaign that's run on grassroots contributions. I think our average contribution is like $35. So anything that folks can donate and give, I think someone's probably dropping a link somewhere in the chat. And also volunteer. We have, 2 more days of early voting. Election day is on Tuesday. It's all about turnout now. So if folks can jump on the dialer and make phone calls wherever you are to tell people, remind them to vote and to get out and early vote. And also, if you're in the district or around or want to come visit, come knock doors with us. Come reach voters where they're at and remind them that they don't have to settle in this election, that they have a choice for change.
All right, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on the broadcast. This was wonderful, and I wish you all the success in the upcoming election.
Thanks, Hasan. Appreciate it.
Bye.